What's good, y'all? We back with another one. It's a little different than a regular episode, but this is a new show that we introducing to y'all called One on One, where it's me, Justin, and Darriel. We coming to y'all with a different side of. We just bringing y'all something different than the regular episode. This show, we're gonna talk about different sports debates. We're gonna go a little bit more in depth than what we usually do on our regular episodes, but I'll let you introduce yourself here.
Yeah, man. One on one. This is gonna be for the football fan, for the geeks, really. You feel me? Who really want to talk about what's going on in the games. I know in our main podcast we go over a lot of sports, a lot of news. So we basically going on this one, just go more in depth on what we think and kind of analyze certain games a little more, things of that nature. But yeah, I'm Darriel. I'm a sports geek. I'm sure as y'all all know, or if y'all watch the whole other podcasts, especially tune into the one we just dropped. Podcast just dropped today. It's a great episode. Make sure liking that video up, sharing that one, and then make sure come back to watch this one. But I am, to get right into the NFL, currently a Steelers fan.
Currently
a Steelers fan.
Former Seahawks, former Broncos.
Former Broncos. If you don't get it from that, I'm a Russell Wilson fan. I kind of go wherever he go. I've been, his biggest fan for, a long while. I don't take no Russell Wilson hate. You feel me? Even though everybody want to slander him, I ain't going to do it. You feel me? Also this year, I'm starting to root for the Bears. Caleb Williams is probably my favorite player outside of Russell Wilson. So I'm going to be rooting for the Bears. So don't be surprised. Like, 1 week the Steelers, 1 week the Bears. You feel me?
We're going to call you out on this still.
Okay.
But no, I mean, shit, I've been pretty much the same since I've got into football. Big Eagles fan, big Jalen Hurts fan, AJ Brown fan as well. I do like a lot of players on the Rams too. I'm a big Cooper Kupp fan. Been a fan since I started fantasy football. He had a great season for me, and I just kept it going.
Could he make the Hall of Fame for real?
He could.
What would he have to do? Like, I feel like he had a nice 6-year run. Right. Definitely the past 3 years where he's peaked, but he's been on a nice 6-year run, about 1,000 yards. Like, what more does he have to do? Because he got a Super Bowl,
he does have one.
Triple Crown. That's gonna hold a lot of weight.
That's big. I think just 2 more years at the level he's at right now, at least, so you can show some longevity. I feel like a lot of people think that, yeah, he has a good 6-year run, but the height of his peak was pretty short. Like the Triple Crown season, after that, injuries derailed him. Yeah. Play declined a little bit, but I feel like maybe this season and maybe next season even, if he can keep a steady level of where he's at, I think there's no doubt that he's a Hall of Fame.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if he outproduces Puka this year.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I would not really be surprised. Like, I think the injuries played a big part. Puka definitely tough, but right. I don't think, if Cooper was there, a lot of them targets would have been going to Kupp. I think once they both was in the lineup, they both was getting around the same amount of targets.
Right. And the chemistry he has with Matt Stafford, like, nobody can deny that. Like, that's top 3 in the league in my opinion, in terms of quarterback to wide receiver. They know exactly where they're gonna be at. The synergy is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. So
I agree.
Definitely since the Triple Crown season, I think health has been his biggest problem. To be honest, I don't think there's anything else holding him back. Like you said, last season when he missed those first 4 games, Puka Nacua, he stepped in his spot and he delivered and even did a little bit more than that. But I think when you have both of them together, you kind of see that in the tail end of last season. When you have both of them, Cooper Kupp is honestly still the wide receiver 1. In my eyes, though.
I don't disagree. Especially with a full off season. We know with Cooper Kupp in the slot, I don't think it gets so much better than Kupp.
It doesn't.
We seen what he did in the crown. Like, that Triple Crown season was
probably... That was a crazy year.
Honestly, I know we've seen Reek, and this might be a bad take. I think that Cooper Kupp season was better than this past Reek season.
I think it was probably better than any season.
This could be could be the best. Like, him and Matthew Stafford connection throughout the playoffs as well, if we count that, put in that consideration.
And putting a ring on top of that's crazy. Like, you don't really see too many high-level wide receivers getting one. You don't see that often.
That's like a magical year. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a perfect year.
That's a perfect year alone where, like, that could get him in the Hall of Fame. That's all I was asking that question. Like, I think about 2 more years is what I agree with that. But speaking of football, what's your first memory? Like, what made you kind of get into football?
I think it was really Madden driven. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was younger, I used to play Madden here and there. I wasn't really that good, but I feel like after a while, like I just started hearing more about it. Like especially like getting social media too, following accounts like Future Report, outside. Like you see different things, and it's like, oh, I want to learn more about that. But where I really got into it was a little bit before the Eagles won the Super Bowl when Carson Wentz had his crazy 2017 year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the season. Like, if we talk about my favorite football players of all time, he's up there. 2017 Carson Wentz. I don't think there's many quarterbacks I'm putting over him. Pre-injury, of course. Pre-injury.
Carson Wentz, 2017. If he gets that MVP, I think he's looked at totally different. Unfortunately for Jalen Hurts, they both missed those 2 games like near the end of the season, which kind of like messed up their MVP.
Their whole flow.
Yeah, but you could argue they still should have won it. But if they would have both played those 2 games, all they needed was the numbers. I think what was the Eagles that year? 13-3.
13-3.
What was the Eagles? 15-2. Like you could argue they both still could have got it even with their missed games. But it's unfortunate the Eagles don't have an MVP. I ain't gonna lie.
It's unfortunate, but I feel like 2017 Wentz, that's such an underrated season because people don't talk about it just for how that season ended. It didn't end with, the Eagles ended on top, but it didn't end with Carson Wentz at the helm.
Right.
He was hurt. He was on the sidelines. We seen his backup Nick Foles get it done against one of the greatest quarterbacks, the greatest quarterback ever in Tom Brady. So it was one of those things where, especially where how Carson Wentz's Philadelphia tenure ended, it kind of ended a little sour, and a lot of fans don't like to give him credit. Like I see different debates talking about it's Carson Wentz peak over Jalen Hurts peak, and as big as a Hurts fan as I am, I don't think he's touching peak Wentz.
Bro,
that's just me. I think Wentz did more or less.
I'm a believer in Wentz. You feel me? I definitely over these Colts. I definitely thought in 2022 they should have made the playoffs. The Colts. I was definitely a believer in that team. But like, bro, Carson Wentz, you gotta think this dude is 6'5", mobile, and can make any throw. When he's right, he was literally right. This is the prototype. This is like he was Josh Allen a little bit, like because he was tough as nails. He wasn't easy to bring down. Like I said, good runner. Probably not as fast as Josh Allen, but bro,
he could move though.
He had a cannon. He could move definitely for a 6'5" man. Like. Carson Wentz is definitely one of my people I think was underrated.
No, he was tough.
I think that him, not starting and winning the Super Bowl for the Eagles, it kind of overshadowed the rest of his tenure at Philadelphia.
It was kind of like he was just behind.
Because everyone was just like, you're the guy, but you ain't do it though.
It's kind of like you said, the word shadow. He was kind of in the shadow of a lot of the Eagles' success. But I mean, in terms of Carson Wentz, like how he's one of my favorite players. If you could have any athlete, past or present, to have as a dinner guest, what would you do? You could do multiple players, but
multiple players. All right, let's have a table.
Let's say a table of 5 seats, me and you, or 7 seats total. Me and you have a seat. 5 athletes. Who are the 5 athletes we bring in collectively?
Are we going dead or alive?
Dead or alive, past, present.
Okay. Me personally, I would definitely have to have Kobe.
Kobe Bryant gotta be here.
Kobe has to be in. He'll drop. I know he'll drop a few gems.
A lot of game. Drop a lot of game.
That's my favorite player of all time.
Are we bringing MJ to that table or nah?
MJ, that would be dope. But I feel like if we do MJ, we probably gotta do three NBA players. I feel like I was gonna do different sports. I was gonna do that. All right, let me hear your list. What you thinking?
If I had 5 for myself, like you said, Kobe's a lock. See, me, I'm a big basketball fan, so that would probably be most of the table. But I think I need to have Kobe Bryant at that seat, at that table. Tom Brady as well.
That's what I was thinking.
That game would be crazy.
Yeah.
I need LeBron James. LeBron James, even though he's basketball as well, he's a universal athlete too. I'm not gonna lie.
Generally liked.
This might be a stretch, but would you consider a Tiger Woods or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not the biggest golf guy, but like I think what he's done for that sport is definitely like you gotta have the top of the top for that.
You gotta know just how dominant Tiger was. I lived through it, but from what people told me, they say he was by far and away the best player they've ever seen.
Crazy. And also, like, I know, like I said, it's gonna be basketball heavy, but I would want Bill Russell too.
Bill Russell.
I feel like he's the pioneer.
I actually do want that as well.
He's the pioneer of basketball itself, and I feel like
he went through everything to where it is now. Especially racially. It wasn't the same where everyone.
His impact was bigger than basketball, on and off the court too.
Definitely.
So I think with me, you have Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, LeBron, Bill Russell, and Tiger Woods, you can't get better. You can't get a better table.
I can't argue with that table.
You can't get a better table. So that's just a little feel of the athletes that I inspire, the athletes I like, just universally, past and present. I look up to. Like you said, Kobe Bryant, like God rest his soul, one of the greatest athletes of all time, especially in his own sport. LeBron James still doing it. His longevity is amazing. Bill Russell, what he's done for the game, the path and platform that he set up for even African American athletes. Tiger Woods, what he does for his sport, and Tom Brady. Just, I feel like you could make the argument, well, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But I think one thing about Tom Brady that I respect is his mental game. Like his mental game is so smart. The way he used to manipulate the game. The way he could just walk down any defense when he needed to.
Anytime. What made Tom special, I think, because for the majority of it, he ain't have the top guys that are wide out.
Right.
He ain't have, the craziest running back. You don't remember too many running backs that Tom Brady had.
But he made it work.
He made it work. So if I was gonna finish my table, I would definitely go Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant. I think for me, being a big WNBA fan, I just want Caitlin Clark at the table.
Caitlin Clark?
I want Caitlin Clark at the table. I could go with a legend.
That's different.
I could go with a legend, but I kind of want somebody young. You feel me? I want someone. All right, tell me how it is with the social media presence.
Right.
You feel me? And then I want to hear, okay, Kobe, what you think about that?
Okay.
You feel me? I know Kobe was also a big women's hoops fan, so I definitely would love to see them talk hoops. As my 4 and 5.
It's tough, bro.
I want to keep it positive.
It's tough.
So I need a Russ there, bro. Russell Wilson.
Wilson.
I need
Okay.
Russell Wilson there. That's someone I do want to have a conversation with, bro.
Yeah.
Whether it's about faith, whether it's about football, you feel me? I think it's a lot. He could, show me as a human, as a man. You feel me? I think he's just all around good dude.
Yeah.
And then for number 5, man, I think I'm gonna keep it WNBA.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it WNBA, and I think I'm gonna go Candace Parker.
That's tough.
One of the greatest players of all time, revolutionized the game. 6'4", able to do everything. That's kind of the mold now. We see Breanna Stewart, we see Nafisha Collier, we see Asia Wilson. I think they all kind of got somewhat of their game from Candace. Big girls who could handle, shoot, finish, pass, however you want it. Candace Parker was all that. So
right.
I think I love my table right there.
No, that's tough. You can't go wrong with that. I like how you switched it up and have more of a woman influence too, because that's important with the game that we have in the sports and the way that's grown in that area itself. That we need to give it more recognition. So 100%. I definitely like the table is versatile and it's different.
100%.
But just diving deep into sports, man, we got a big week ahead of us with the NFL Week 1. Season back.
Yes,
season back.
Bro, football season is the best season by far, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
The hype is crazy.
For this one? Or are you just saying
year by year?
You don't think NFL is the best season?
I don't think so.
NBA?
It gotta be NBA. But I do think. See, I'm torn because I love the NFL too.
Okay.
But I can't negate that. If we're talking about the start of the season, nothing's better than Week 1 hype and Week 1 excitement.
I just think, bro, with games, usually coming on the weekend, not as many games, right? So it's like every game kind of holds more weight. Every game holds weight in the NFL.
Right.
You feel me? Week 1 through Week 18.
Especially the postseason too.
You feel me? Literally every game matters. And with that being said, I think the NBA could kind of, especially today's NBA where dudes not playing their hardest. The NBA trying to fix it a little bit recently, but the NBA isn't as serious every week, day to day, week to week, month to month. You feel me? I just think the NFL, and I think football is my favorite sport.
Okay.
Definitely to watch. I definitely do think that. I think because it's just the ultimate team game.
Right.
Like with basketball, you give Steph a not so great team. He can make that work.
Turn into a playoff team.
He can make that work.
Jokic, those type of players.
But with football, okay, you can have all pros at 7 of your positions, still not go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Still not even go to the conference championship.
You got the best skilled players of that offensive line week. Forget about it. Forget about it, bro.
I'm saying. So I just love that aspect. But just to hop right into it, we got the Ravens Chiefs, bro.
That's the biggest one.
Let me talk. So I got a little thing. So last year we seen that the Chiefs lost to the Lions in kind of a low scoring game. Like the Lions, we weren't sure what they were gonna be last year. Like especially coming in, we thought they would be solid, but we didn't know if it was the Lions defense or the Chiefs offense that made the game script kind of how it was.
Right.
As we go throughout the year, we kind of see it's a little bit of both. Like the Lions are a good team, Chiefs offense not that crazy, right?
Right.
I think this year though, the Chiefs offense is gonna go back to Chiefs offense, what we know and love. I think this Ravens Chiefs game is gonna be a high scoring one. I don't think it's gonna be low scoring. I don't, especially coming off the championship game. I'm pretty sure everyone's saying probably another low scoring one, two good defenses, but I think both of these teams are gonna score. I do.
I agree. I mean, I think both teams are coming into this game trying to prove a point. Honestly, we got on the Ravens side. They coming off a tough AFC Championship loss. A lot of people thought they were going to make it to the Super Bowl themselves.
Right.
They saw the Chiefs, like you said, another low-scoring game. They didn't get it done. They didn't make the timely plays to get over that AFC hump. On the other side, we have the Chiefs. They're fresh off another Super Bowl, but I think they're as hungry to get 3, more hungry for that to get 2.
No, like, for real though.
They're ready, and I think, like you said, last year it came out a little slower than usual. But I think the pieces they have now with Rashee Rice molded into the wide receiver he is now. You also have Xavier Worthy. He's there. He's ready.
Fastest receiver.
So got Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco in your backfield. Patrick Mahomes.
You have Hollywood Brown. That's another B-minus. Like they have, I think, definitely overall supporting cast is a little better,
right?
Talent-wise. Obviously, kind of doesn't matter when you got that guy. Mahomes still got it done. We've seen, years with Brady. We see the great ones still be able to get it done without necessarily A+ talent. But I do think this will be a high-scoring game. This game, I will lean with the Ravens to win a high-scoring game.
Really?
I have 33-27 Ravens.
That's a good range of the game script, like where the final score is going to be. I can see that.
The Chiefs lose another home opener. We have our concerns. They end up shutting us up later. One of them.
I mean, the Ravens have a point to prove though. Now that they got Lamar, a good backfield threat, and Derrick Henry.
Definitely.
They ready. I think they're. I'm high on the Ravens, bro. Like I wasn't even high on the Ravens last season. I thought the hype was a little too much. I wasn't really as big as the consensus was, but now that I think that they gave Lamar something to work with. I think Lamar's going to come back. He's finally proven that, look, I'm an MVP player compared to 2 years ago when he was looking for a new contract and no team even was thinking about giving him that. That was kind of crazy. And now that you have different OC, the different DC, they're going to look to surprise people. They're going to come in like the Lions did, hungry. They're going to bring the defense when they need to. Probably throughout the game, the Chiefs, they're going to get their points too. But when it comes in the fourth quarter and it's time to get a stop, I mean, no other defense that the Ravens that can get that timely stop.
So what's your ballpark or score prediction?
You said 33-27. I think a little lower. I'll say like a 27-20-ish.
27-20.
That's kind of in the same range of
27-20 Ravens.
Yeah, 27-20 Ravens.
27.
I think that's the same ballpark of the AFC final score, but I think it'll come differently. It might start slow though. It might start slow, but I'll say maybe in the second quarter or even the second half, things are going to start picking up.
In the second half. Okay. See, last year's game was 17-10.
Right.
So okay.
It's a different spin though, because now after that we got a Friday night game. Eagles Packers. My Eagles going into Brazil against the Packers, which is a controversial topic because you see Slay. He went into public and put out that he doesn't want to go to Brazil. All the wildfires, all the danger going on. That the Eagles team, they're not really that comfortable even bringing their families there. So that's definitely something to monitor. But overall, like in terms of the game product, it's gonna be competitive. I'm not gonna lie. The Packers, they're hungry. They're looking to prove what they did in the postseason and the game that they did. And when they went to Dallas and went and shot the Cowboys, they're looking to the NFL and saying, "Yo, we can take over this NFC North. We can prove a point." Meanwhile, you got the Eagles coming off a disappointing year. A lot of people thought they could potentially make it back to the Super Bowl. They had the season off as a subpar team, in my opinion, just being brutally honest. And I think coming back, making big moves like acquiring Saquon Barkley, get their safety back, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, even making a minor trade in Jahan Dotson to shore up the wide receiver 3 position. They're looking to make a point, start off the season 1-0, and just at least shut people up for now. Like, yo, this is our season.
Listen, last year, they did fall off a little bit, but I was saying all throughout last year, and it's kind of, for me, it's kind of the same this year. They're the most talented team.
Yeah.
This is the most talented roster again.
It's like that year by year.
I think last year they had the most talented roster. If you look at names, who they got, especially by their age, they had a lot. I think this year, how he did it again. Like, you feel me? He just cooks. He just cooks. So I think coming into this year, they have a top 2, if not the highest, most talented team.
For sure.
This game, I do have the Eagles winning, and I don't think it's gonna be as close as the maybe consensus will be.
Right.
I think the Eagles got something to prove this year. I think there's no home field advantage, so no Lambeau field advantage. Obviously, it'll be better in the link as well, but I think this will be kind of a coming up party for Eagles, showing, hey, let's beat one of the top teams. Who y'all think really that, and let's show where we at. I
think they get at least 4 touchdowns.
I got 35-17.
35-17. I can see that though. I'll probably take the same score. I think they're gonna come out and like you said, show everybody like, yo, at least week 1, like, we're Super Bowl contenders for sure.
Yeah.
But, like, make that point really proven. So
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big game where Saquon Barkley goes off for like 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, and shit, maybe a couple receptions too. You never know. AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. So we gonna see. I think the Eagles, they could do it.
They could do it.
But I wouldn't count out the Packers. I don't think they'll win the game, but they can make it close too.
They could make it close, and I'm not doubting that at all. I'm definitely not doubting. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Going into Sunday at 1 p.m., we got a whole slate. With the Minnesota Vikings, they going to MetLife and playing the New York Giants. How we feel about that matchup? It's 2 teams that's, I'll say on the Vikings end, they're definitely going to decline. I'll say the Giants, they already been pretty bad, but
yeah, definitely. I definitely think these are 2 teams that won't probably make the playoffs. I see both these teams as personally the worst in each of their divisions.
Right.
I think Washington's going to be better than the Giants. We're pretty much expecting Eagles and Cowboys.
Yeah.
With the Vikings now, we don't know what the Bears will look like. I'm personally a believer in them. We'll get into that. But yeah, I definitely think the Vikings have a solid division as well. But just to focus on this game, who's going to come out starting the season 1-0, I'm going to go with the Giants. I'm thinking home field advantage. Hopefully we'll play some type of factor in saying, can we get the LSU boy involved, Malik Neighbors? Like, I think he has a chance to be really, really special. He has all the tools. Like, he kind of reminds me of Jamar Chase. So if he pans out, man, and Daniel Jones can have any type of route, like consistency, like anything that was close to 2022, I do think this team could be not a bottom feeder, but like 7-1 team. That's respectable, especially with 17 games now.
And being in a tough division too. Like they're not in an easy division either.
So. I definitely think if Daniel Jones can keep it up. Brian Daboll, he was in Coach of the Year running, obviously, just 2 years ago. So let's see if he can cook something up, man. What you got?
I'm gonna disagree here. I think Minnesota comes in and becomes 1-0. I know they're gonna miss their rookie Jaden McCarthy for the whole season, but and don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of Sam Darnold, but I think he's gonna be pretty serviceable. Probably not for the whole season. I could see might be a point where he could potentially be benched, but I think going into MetLife, still having weapons like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, you still have T.J. Hawkinson, but he's gonna miss a decent portion of the season. But you got a different look in your backfield, and maybe potentially an upgrade with Aaron Jones. I think going into week 1, I like the Giants defense, but Minnesota, they can still put up some points. Okay. I'm not saying that they can do that on a weekly basis, but having it be in week 1, they can go get a dub. I don't see why not.
Okay. So what's your score? I got 20-17.
I think it'd be a little lower scoring. Like, honestly, you might see 17-7.
17-7.
I'm not that big on the Giants offense as much as I like Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Until I see it, like you said, if Daniel Jones has any ounce of 2022 in him, where he took that team to the playoffs, maybe I'm higher on the Giants this season, but I gotta see it first. I can't just put that projection on Daniel Jones because more times than not, he's showing that he's not a starter level quarterback in this league. It's not at all. But going into another questionable matchup, we have the New England Patriots going to Cincinnati and playing the Bengals, but I feel like the biggest question mark is not even this game itself, just Jamar Chase's contract situation. Yeah. He's looming with that. He's doing a holding right now. Reportedly, he wants a bigger contract than Justin Jefferson by 1 cent, which is crazy, but basically he's asking for Justin Jefferson.
He's
money.
basically
It's one of those things where do you think he's gonna play? Because at this point, we only have about 5 days until they do that. So
I mean, yeah, we're seeing people around the league with these contract disputes not showing up to camps. I'm pretty sure they're getting money taken up from them, like get them fined. I know Hassan Reddick. I think he lost like
He's
4 or
losing
5 mil from not showing up to Jets training camp. So I'm thinking essentially you're gonna have to show up eventually.
Right.
You feel me? Maybe you didn't want to do OTAs and the camps and things of that nature, but you don't want to keep catching these fines and things of that nature. I do think he'll end up coming back, hopefully for this game, because I do want to see a full Bengals team. I think they get the win without him. I do think they get the win without him. Bengals at home. I got with Chase 30-10, without him 27-10. Like, you feel me? Like, I think this should be an easy win for the Bengals. I don't believe that the Patriots are gonna make any crazy things. Tom Brady isn't there anymore. Like, you feel me? I think it's gonna be easy Bengals win.
I agree with that, especially because Drake May isn't even starting. I'm higher on Drake May than a lot of other quarterbacks in the draft, but they have Jacoby Brissett, who I respect as a backup, as a bridge starter in this league. But
bridge quarterbacks, like,
I don't know why
they might as well go with the rook at this point.
Might as well.
You know what Brissett is, like, he's a mid to below average quarterback. I don't know.
And like you said, with Chase or not, there's no chance that I see them being the Bengals team. But I hope T. Higgins, he can make the most out of these wide receiver targets, because I do have him on one of my fantasy household leagues. But no, I mean, as far as Jamar Chase's contract situation, I hope that gets figured out. At this point, even if they do sign him like right now, he's not going to be in the best football shape for week 1. So I can expect him to be fully acclimated by week 2 at least. But like I said, this is one of those years where the Bengals, they just get more. Their main core gets more expensive by the year, and by the year they get further away from their 2021 Super Bowl appearance. So I think it's one of those things where pay the man, bro. You're gonna pay him eventually. Like, I don't know what's up with these front offices holding back money. You're gonna
think Chase is the top 5.
Chase out of all teams, like with the Niners and Ayuk, I feel like there's somebody's getting it because you drafted a wide receiver in the first round. You have a player like Deebo Samuel, but Jamar Chase is like, he's one of the ones, bro. Like, he's not one to play with. I get the only leverage that the Bengals do hold is that you have 2 years left on his contract compared to a Justin Jefferson, a CD Lamb, a Brandon Ayuk, who were playing on their 5th-year option, but you're going into your 4th year, so we don't have to pay you this summer. We can pay you next summer, and even next summer, you can potentially get a bigger contract with the inflation. But I guess he wants the more guaranteed money. He wants to lock himself up with security.
He wants security,
which I understand, but
anything can happen in football.
Yeah, I hope both sides just find a common ground, figure out a deal, and get him back on the court, back on the field, because he's a special talent. We can't miss out.
We can't miss that. Speaking of a game that, or something that's not missable, I think this is the game. This is one of the games of the week. I think this is the game of the 1 o'clock games.
Really?
Yeah. The Steelers at Falcons.
I know it's a big game for you.
It's a big game for me. This is a big game for a lot of the NFL. I'm not going to lie. I think these are 2 teams that people are kind of just
worried about.
They don't know what to expect. Now, the Falcons, we know that coming after last season, they're going to have Kirk Cousins. They're going to have new play callers calling plays.
Right.
So it's a lot of, and they had a top 10 defense last year. So it's a lot of,
moving pieces.
People saying that Falcons can make the playoffs. And with that division, I do think they will make the playoffs. I do think that division is fairly easy. Now, the Buccaneers may be the only team that talked to them, but I don't know.
Panthers and Saints are afterthoughts.
Yeah.
It's Falcons versus Bucks. Like, we know that week 1.
I know that for sure. And like I said, I really do like the Falcons. I'm really big on Bijan this year. I think he can be turn out to be one of the best players ever. Not ever, but best players this season. I do think he can be that running back. He has that burst that certain running backs have. When you see it, you see it. You feel me? At Texas, he was special, and I think last year he was underutilized. I think this year he will be, more prevalent on offense. You feel me?
That goes to another topic, the Arthur Smith revenge game. The Falcons got rid of their OC, their head coach, Arthur Smith, and now he's the Steelers OC. It's going to be funny to see how that affects on the Steelers. Like, will they take a step back on their offense, or will Arthur Smith give them a different look? Maybe utilize their running game a little bit more. Maybe we see in this matchup, Najee Harris and Jalen Warren both get a decent amount of looks in the backfield. I want to see how they utilize their other wide receivers beside Pickens, their Calvin Austins, Quez Watkins, those type of players. Even Pat Fryer, I want to see him get more involved. I think he's a very underrated wide receiver.
I think he's an underrated tight end. Now, I do think that Russell Wilson's first game, everyone's definitely saying, all right, I know a lot of people are kind of off for Russ. You know, they're saying, all right, if he plays bad this game, he plays bad next game, hey, Justin Fields. They're trying to, I think they're,
I'm a big Fields guy, man.
I think the agenda is to try to get Fields on the field. Unfortunately, as a Russell Wilson fan, I do think he's definitely the better quarterback, kind of, and is not close either, especially, even if you want to say, okay, Russell Wilson hasn't been the same, right? If you go off the last 3 years, Russell Wilson's also been better than Fields, and I think actually Russell Wilson's play over the past year has been underrated because he was great for so long, but that's understandable. I'm not going to pick the Falcons to win.
Really?
But I'm not saying they won't win. That's kind of where I'm going.
I can see the Steelers getting this one.
I don't know. I'm going to go with the Steelers, but I'm not confident. I do like the Falcons, and I do have Bijan Robinson, so I kind of want him to cook this week.
You think this
on my fantasy team.
You think this could be more of a shootout or no?
I think that this will be about 20 to 27. Probably, I think a lot of people are thinking probably 17, 14. I think it'll be a little more than that.
Right.
But 20, 27 Steelers.
I'm going to go with 27-24 Falcons.
27-24 Falcons.
I think the Falcons can get it done. Kirk, first game back from that Achilles from last year. First game in the Falcon uniform. I think we can get them a dub.
Okay. Next game.
New face, new location. Said you needed different places. Never thought my time was wasted. Brody finding different cases. I don't like to argue, I'm always saying you right. Understand I'm being distant, but my dreams are my sight.